Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third world country, England, where there's no electric or nothing. End of times, end of times. We are living end of times. There's no electric. The whole of England is the cut power. They did warn us, and now we are living in end of times. Welcome to the third world country.
This week, the relative humidity in China hit a staggering 100%. And honestly, I've never seen anything like it. Videos are coming out of people showing their walls and ceilings absolutely drenched, while others had to use window scrapers and even hair dryers to try and remove the condensation. Some people even had to sleep with umbrellas because even if you scrape off the water, it soon comes right back and starts dripping on you while you sleep. The red paint on the Lunar New Year's posters were completely soaked and started dripping, making the walls and floor look like a freaking crime scene. People couldn't get in their homes because the doors that use fingerprint recognition stopped working, and it was even turning bags of chips back into mashed potato. And what's crazy is that this kind of weather usually occurs later in the year when it gets warmer, but it's only March, and with the 100% humidity, it hit a sweltering 30 degrees Celsius, with residents saying that it's the worst they've experienced in decades. And this comes as February became the hottest month globally on record, marking the 9th month in a row that global heat records have been smashed.
Oh my gosh. So I've been diving into why does everybody want to ban TikTok all of a sudden? Why does it have everybody unified in Congress? I saw this TikTok where it shows just how much money all of these senators get from pro-Israel lobbying. What does that have to do with it? Well, there's some leaked audio from the CEO of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, that fights against anti-Semitism, hate speech against Jews, different things like that. You might know the ADL because Elon Musk has been fighting with them, but listen.
We have a major generational problem. All the polling I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests this is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States in support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's, massacre was justified is shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem, that our community needs to put the same brains that gave us Tagli, the same brains that gave us all these other amazing innovations, need to put our energy towards this, like fast. Because again, like we've been chasing this left-right divide, it's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation, and the Hamas and their accomplices, the useful idiots in the West, are falling in line in ways that are terrifying. Lastly, I'll just say, we saw a dramatic change in the language of the activists here in America on October the 8th. The language of groups that we've long tracked, who've long been problematic, like Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voices for Peace.
The fact that he talks about Jewish Voices for Peace as a problematic group, I think shows what their incentives are. But what if the TikTok ban is all about because people are calling out the system for its bullshit? Like, it kind of makes sense.
So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the federal government just said that they're going to be spying on you playing video games to combat extremism. It seems the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are going to be partnering with gaming companies to fight extremist gamers. Sorry, Call of Duty fans. The Government Accountability Office says that the FBI and DHS should use the same strategy that allowed them to police extremism on social media to regulate the gaming industry. And the Anti-Defamation League, super reputable, says that 20% of adult gamers and 15% of kids playing games report being exposed to white supremacy while gaming. What constitutes extremism, you may ask? Racially or ethnically motivated violence, anti-government or anti-authority sentiments, animal rights or environmental extremism, if you're pro-life, apparently, and all other domestic terrorism threats, which the FBI has already said includes going to church on Sunday. This is super constitutional.
Figure AI, a humanoid robot company that has partnered with OpenAI, has released a new video of its robot using GPT vision. Check this out. It's creepy.
Hey, figure one, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Boys.
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
Great. So, based on the scene right now, where do you think the dishes in front of you go next?
The dishes on the table, like that plate and cup, are likely to go into the drying rack next.
Great. Can you put them there?
Of course.
All right, so how do you think you did?
I think I did pretty well. The apple found its new owner, the trash is gone, and the tableware is right where it belongs.
I agree. Thanks, figure one.
You're welcome. If there's anything else you need help with, just let me know.
What do you think? That's pretty crazy. I'll do another video covering the figure robot and the specs of the robot they're producing, so like and follow.
In 2009, a boy named Falcon Heaney snuck into his father's homemade flying saucer right before liftoff. The father, Richard Heaney, was unaware that his son was inside the balloon, and upon takeoff of his DIY saucer, he realized that he had forgotten to tether it to the ground.
Are you in? Tether! Get up! Tether now! Are you mad?
At this point, Richard had not yet assumed that his son was inside the balloon, only that the tether was untied. While initially frustrated to lose his aircraft, this was nothing compared to the devastation he would feel once he realized that he was now also at risk of losing his son.
So we are sure that he's in that.
Yeah, we looked everywhere, and my son just said, be verified. He said, yeah, he went inside just before it went off, because we had it tethered. It wasn't supposed to take off.
They sent a UH-60 Blackhawk and an OH-58 Kiowa to track down the saucer. It drifted for roughly 60 miles before landing 2 hours later. However, upon its landing, the boy was nowhere to be found. Concerns were raised about the possibility of the boy falling out of the saucer after a sheriff reported that he had spotted something dropping from the aircraft shortly before. A search and rescue crew followed the path of the balloon, searching for any evidence of the boy or debris, with no success. But then, in a shocking turn of events, a couple hours after the landing, the news reported that the boy had been hiding in a cardboard box in the attic the entire time. Many thought that this was the end of this intense and chaotic story. However, when the family was interviewed later on, this happened.
And when Falcon was asked why he hid, the little boy said this.
We did this for the show.
What did he mean, we did this for the show?
I have no idea.
In the end, the Heaney parents both pleaded guilty to the charges against them for the hoax.
I can sit here and I can drag out a blackboard and show you mathematically this body, Earth, does not have the gravitational mass to capture a moon that big and hold it. And then not only hold it in a tidal lock. There's also, if you would check with Cherokee and the Hopi Indians, they have history, before white man ever showed up, of moonless nights, meaning the moon wasn't there. Then there's Neil Armstrong and all his stuff. They put seismographs and plotters on the moon. That was the first thing they set out in their instruments. Then they got up and fired the upper section back into the moon. When it crashed, the moon resonated like a bell.
The moon is not a piece of rock. It is plasma.
One thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock. but it is plasma phenomena, cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theory?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. The self-landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is less, far less, than is currently assumed. It's in a different state of energy, and it has far less mass. That means there is no more explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only 1,000th part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high under conventional theories instead of sometimes 14 feet. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved.
4 years later,
modern science wants you to believe that this is Earth's shadow coming in, doing a turn, and leaving this way. But ancient Hindu cosmology talks about Rahu and Ketu, which aren't actually planets, but balls of energy that interfere with celestial bodies as they pass over them, which actually sounds a lot like dark celestial bodies in modern science, or black holes, or dark matter. In Hindu cosmology, Rahu and Ketu is what causes our lunar and solar eclipses, which the story sounds a lot like the mystery of dark bodies we have today. I found this article on dark stars, which have similar properties of black holes. You can't actually see the star, but you can see when it passes over light. But this makes me think they know exactly what these dark stars are, as you see, acting like a stellar youth serum. What's crazy is Rahu and Ketu came from this entity who got cut in half after taking some Amrita and becoming immortal, and then became Rahu and Ketu. Amrita is an elixir, a potion, a youth serum. And look what I found in this article of the dark stars. Read this. Acting like a stellar youth serum. So do they know what's going on? Is the study of dark celestial bodies and dark matter really the study of Rahu and Ketu? I've watched Globers try to steelman the Selenilian eclipse, which is called the impossible eclipse because it's when the sun and the moon both are above Earth's horizon. They try to say that really the sun is down here, but it just looks like it's up here like a mirage. But how is an illusion casting light onto the Earth? I don't know. This is their explanation. Or this is their explanation. They say that you're actually 5,000 feet tall and you can really see. Look, if the Earth and Moon are just above Earth's horizon, there's no way to cast a shadow onto the Moon. I want to thank Angel of Light for the awesome lunar eclipse footage, and thank David Shane for showing me who Rahu and Ketu was. It set me on this path, finding all these links. Wow.
Yes, it's NASA picture.
Okay.
What would you say to this?
I'd say any NASA picture was lies.
Military bases, yes?
That Mars is 100% occupied, owned, used.
By whom?
Fourth Reich, hybrid reptoid sort of beings. The moon is also colonized. It has the soul harvesting system.
Many people don't know that Nazis actually didn't lose the war.
Yes.
And they have their bases in Antarctica. Are they going to show up?
Well, they already are. You know, we don't see them. People with their eyes open, they do. It's absolutely everywhere. But if you're still under sort of like the spell, you don't. But it's everywhere.
Something is about to happen in America that hasn't happened in 221 years. Experts are now predicting that billions of insects will burst from out of the ground and cover roads, trees, and sidewalks in an event that hasn't happened since 1803. Guess we'll find that. Now, the insects in question are cicadas, which have red eyes, are pretty large, and are known for their unique screaming sound. Now granted, cicadas appear every year, but this year's bloody biblical level awakening will not see just one, but two broods coming up at the same time. And why it's so rare is that one of them comes up every 13 years, and the other every 17. So for them to link up and tag team the US at the same time. It sounds like frickin' Moses is in town. These are gonna be the states worst affected, so get your flamethrowers ready. And they're predicted to emerge in May and June. So the question is, billions of cicadas, or double it and give it to Canada?
Okay, hands down, coolest thing I've seen in a while. This is David Shane. Look at this weird little ring. This is a real photograph he took with his real telescope, and you tell me what you see. I'm getting a little freaked out. It's almost one of those questions that you don't really want to know the answer to. But this is why I love David Shane. He's straightforward. He's a real astronomer. He's not full of CGI and a bunch of presuppositions. He's just going to take his new telescope, take some photographs and some videos, and show you. He's got a whole channel full of it. Make sure you follow David Shane. And when I say almost don't want to know the answer to that question, it's because I think of the Hunger Games, when Katniss shoots the arrow up into the sky and it goes whoosh, and boom, hits the sky, and it's all of a sudden glitching out. I've done videos before on simulation theory, but for those simulation guys, I mean, this is pretty good evidence.
I've seen my fair share of cults, and this one is pretty weird. This cult calls themselves the Cult of Mother God, and it's run by this woman here, Amy Carlson. She calls herself Mother God, creator of the universe, and she pretty much believed that she was being controlled by the spirit of Robin Williams himself, and not only him, but she could also channel information from other celebrities who weren't alive and even were alive, Donald Trump, but yeah, like Steve Irwin, Carrie Fisher, MJ. With everything in her, she believed that all this advice she was giving people was coming from Robin Williams himself. Her parents claimed she was a straight-A student, and sometime between 2000 to 2007, she meets a man named White Eagle as she was frequenting a website called lightworkers.org. She's pretty much convinced she's a divine being by this man, and she leaves her husband, her job, and kids, moves to Colorado with this cult. They'd start posting in 2009 and would call themselves the Galactic Foundation of the Light. Amy's health starts declining very badly to where she starts losing weight. She's down to 103 pounds, and this cult believes that Robin Williams is going to come down in a spaceship and pick her up. She can't weigh over 103, and she's going to ascend. Her health continues to decline, and Robin Williamson is nowhere to be found. He doesn't show up in his spaceship, so this group spends about 12 days with her body. I forgot to mention, but she was last seen alive on April 10th of 2021. But yeah, police would eventually break in and find Amy's body, her face covered in glitter, body in a sleeping bag, wrapped in Christmas lights. Kind of like a shrine, they called it.
You know what the craziest, most frustrating part of becoming an adult is? That nobody ever really talks about.
It has been proven that the human brain cannot distinguish between something that has actually happened and something that's being imagined. It does not know the difference, and we don't talk about this enough. This means that if you're constantly thinking about being sick, worrying about your health, and perpetuating fear into your own life, you're actually making your body go through the physical experience of it. And the crazy part is this can actually cause disease progression within the body. Our bodies believe what our minds tell us. So it's incredibly important that we choose our words wisely. Choose what we think about every single day. Make sure it's positive, make sure it's healthy, and make sure it's something that we actually want. Without actual proof of something wrong, you shouldn't be thinking it. Choose your thoughts and choose your words wisely. I hope this helps.